because we all get so much knitting done on vacation. Hello, fiber friends. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are talking about vacation knits, simple portable projects for when you're traveling. So if that sounds like it will be of interest to you, I hope you'll stick around. Hello, fiber friends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Kristen, here on the Media Peruana Knits YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be talking to you about vacation knits. So we are getting ready to leave for our summer vacation. Usually we go to the beach. This year we're going to Williamsburg, trying something a little bit different, a little bit historical. And it has got me thinking, of course, about what I want to bring with me to work on while we are on our vacation. Sometimes I get to knit in the car, not this year though. I will have to be doing some driving. But whether you are driving or on a plane or, at the beach or wherever, you want to have some knitting with you, of course. And so today I'm sharing some patterns for your vacation knits. So what I mean by a vacation knit, one, it's portable. I don't want to be carrying around 8 or 9 balls of yarn for a big sweater. In the same vein, it is one color because again, I don't want to be dealing with multiple balls of yarn and keeping track of them. And lastly, it is simple. So there's lots of stockinette, there's lots of garter stitch, there's maybe one small element that requires some thinking, but overall it's very simple and straightforward. If it has a stitch pattern, it's something that's easy to memorize, obviously increasing, decreasing, but something that is in a easy, repeatable, memorizable pattern. So this is not the time that I want to do a colorwork sweater or something that is all over crazy cables that I have to be checking a chart. I want something simple, easy to sit with by the pool and knit, easy to, take on the plane if I am flying and I don't have to be juggling several balls of yarn and a pattern in my, tiny little space. So I have put together a bundle of what I think are appropriate travel or vacation knitting patterns. You can find the link to that in the description box below. And I'm going to talk about 10 of them specifically, but I think there are 20 in there. So all of these patterns are relatively small. So they are some small summery kind of tops, hats, shawls, socks. They are all one color and they are all relatively simple. So something that you are easily going to be able to memorize, maybe a few standout elements here or there where you might have to check a chart, for a sock heel or whatever. But overall, you're going to be able to memorize these and knit them in a relaxed environment without having to concentrate too much and without having to repeatedly check the pattern or the charts or whatever. So without further ado, let's dive into some of these patterns. So the first one is a lovely pattern for summer. This is the Oara Tank or Oara Tank. I don't know. This is a pattern by Tanis Lavalley of Tanis Fiber Arts. And as you can see, this is a lovely sleeveless top done in what looks to be like a broken rib. Something very simple and easy to memorize. So she knit this in her Willow DK base, which is a silk linen flax DK weight yarn. Definitely you can probably find some different kinds of substitutes out there, but you do want to maybe go with a plant, natural kind of fiber, non-wool. The pattern is available in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sizes, up to a 61.5-inch bust. And overall, the yardage is pretty small. So the smallest size uses only 340 yards and the largest 840 yards. So again, you're only going to need to be carrying a few balls of yarn with you, not 10. This beautiful summer tank is a dream to wear on a warm day. The lush texture adds interest and the gorgeous neckline really draws you in. This knit with the top down with zero finishing, which we also really like. It seems to be a rule of traveling that you will forget things. You will not have your yarn needle. You will not have your cable needle. You will not have your stitch markers. You will not have your yarn cutter. You're going to forget something. And so we want something that doesn't require a whole lot of different tools and things to work or finish. So this pattern is available for $9 on Ravelry, and she does have a fair number of projects, probably from her testers up there, so you can see it in different yarns and on different shapes and sizes. But it's a really cute, simple tank, most of it is just, knitting this broken rib stitch. And then you've got some, you start with some shaping at the top, the shoulders. And then especially once you've joined in the round for the body, easy peasy. So that is our first pattern, the I don't know, tank. Next up, we have a pattern whose name I cannot pronounce, but it is this lovely, very simple, straightforward shawl. This is the Lila Colding by Chris Berlin. And this is available on Ravelry for €6.90 or $8.43. This is worked in a fingering weight yarn and is just a simple, very easy to memorize shawl. Apparently, it looks like she has an original Colding shawl, which is perhaps a little bit bigger, and this is on the smaller side. It says, the Colding has been with me since 2019, and now we have a new edition, a whole family of Lila Coldings. If you've ever wanted to knit a Colding but thought it was too big, now here's your chance. When you're out and about, it's your absolute best friend, easy to knit, knit mindlessly, and one skein or a couple of balls of yarn. So not a whole lot required for this. It has some simple textured stitches. She has a whole bunch of different samples here to show you, knit in various yarns. And basically it's a shawl, so you just kind of match your yarn weight to your needle size, and you can use any needle or you can use any yarn you want. So I really love this for its simplicity, something that is going to be easy to carry with you, and going to create a nice basic shawl for the upcoming fall season. So this was just released a few months ago, but there are over 1,000 projects, I guess, probably because it says there's a whole family. So probably all these projects are some of the various sizes and incarnations of this. But you have lots to look through if you're looking for yarn suggestions and things like that. Overall, a nice, basic, easily memorized project. You're not going to end up with a huge shawl lap full of wool, something smaller and simple. So again, that's Lila Colding, and that is available on Ravelry. Next, socks are a great project for when you're traveling, but if vanilla socks just don't hold your attention, I think this is a good, slightly elevated pattern. Hello, why are you two here? These are the Hibernal Socks. This is a pattern by the Queen of Socks, Summer Lee. So this one was released back in December 2022, and is available on Ravelry for $5. And you can see this is just a little bit more than a plain vanilla sock. It has a couple of lines or columns of very easy to memorize cables. Other than that, just kind of ribbing, stockinette, sole, very simple. The cats get so confused. They don't know who I'm talking to. So socks, obviously, these use fingering weight yarn. She includes, looks like 5 sizes. Hibernal socks are my love letter to the long, quiet nights of winter. Worked cuff down. Classic pattern is easy to memorize. So obviously, yes, fingering weight yarn. Any fingering weight yarn will probably do, but the yarn she used here is the Stroll Tweed by Knit Picks. So adding a little tweed in there makes these just a little bit more interesting. So you've got a little bit of a stitch pattern and then the tweed thrown in. These really look cute. And again, they're easily customizable if you want a longer leg, or you can make little short ones. A great, slightly elevated sock pattern. And she has a multi-pattern discount. So if you are a big fan of knitting socks, she has some beautiful ones, and you buy 3 or more patterns in her store and you get 15% off. But this pattern is only $5 to begin with. So, and of course, there are lots of projects on here if you want to take a look at different yarns that people used. So again, Hibernal Socks by Summer Lee. Next up, we have the Julia bag. This is a pattern by Mochi Knits. And this is just a really handy bag for carrying around your stuff. And it is very straightforward with an easy to memorize stitch pattern. So this one starts at the bottom, I believe. So you work the bottom circle of the bag. That's probably the most complicated part. Then you work the sides of the bag in a very easy to memorize stitch pattern and finish it off with some straps of your choosing. So let's see what we have. It is worked in the round, starting with the bottom, which is shaped with increases. The main body is worked in an open work stitch and finished with handles and a crochet border. If you don't know how to crochet, you can always improvise another border. The yarn used here is the Isair Japansk Bomull, which is a 100% cotton, and it is worked with 3 strands of yarn held together. So that yarn is a thread, is a thread weight, which I understand to be thinner than lace weight, but you're holding 3 strands of it together, and you could definitely substitute with another yarn. So the needle size you're using is 6, and you want that to give you a relatively dense fabric. So do with that what you will. You can have, there are lots of different yarn substitutions you could make if you don't happen to have a thread weight yarn in your stash. And there are a number of projects here. You can look at all the different yarns people used. So you do want to make sure you get a dense fabric, because that will help the bag to stand up on its own. Overall, I think this is a really cute, easy to memorize pattern. And then, if you finish it while you're on vacation, you've got a new bag to use, which always comes in handy on vacation, because let's face it, we buy a lot of stuff on vacation, souvenirs and things, and then we need extra transportation for them. The pattern does include video tutorials, and she always does a lot of very helpful tutorials for her patterns. And you can find it on Ravelry. It's probably also on her website, but it is on Ravelry for €6 or $7.33, the Julia bag. All right, this next one I found, I think I heard about it through another podcast. I don't remember which one though. This is the Detroit Slipover. This is a pattern by Sarah Ottoson, and this is a free pattern. I will note that it looks like whatever person and or company is producing this and some other patterns, they are free, but they don't include pattern support. So if you have trouble with any parts of the pattern, you're kind of out of luck, but there's a bajillion tutorials on YouTube, so probably not a big deal. So this pattern is worked in a worsted weight yarn, Ulrika Natur by Svarta Faret. That sounds perhaps like a Swedish yarn, and I don't know anything about it, but it says it is a worsted weight 100% wool. So yarn substitution, pretty easy. And this is a cute brioche slip over that is going to be great. You work this, up over the summer, and when the fall comes, you've got it to slip over all of your shirts and dresses and things. Really cute, really simple. It's done in like a fisherman's rib, so there is not a whole lot of fancy stuff here. Fisherman's rib and garter stitch, easy to memorize, simple shaping. I think this would be great for, once you get going in a fisherman's rib rhythm, you're fine. You won't have to be checking back, checking pattern, checking, there's no charts involved. Nice, straightforward project. So there are not a whole lot of details on the Ravelry page, but as I said, the pattern is free, so you can just download it. And there is more information there, I know, because I have already downloaded it. I am hoping to knit this, come on, sometime in the near future. So going to the actual pattern, let's see what it says. It says, vest is worked back and forth from the top down in garter stitch and fisherman's rib. Back is worked first, then the front stitches are picked up from the back shoulders. Both back and front have V-necks, and the vest is joined with buttons at the side. And it says the details and edges are worked at the same time as the garment body, so there's not a lot of finishing, not a lot of picking up stitches, things like that are going to start making your project more complicated. So it is sized from an extra small to a 4XL, 34¼ bust to 32¼ 62¼ Apparently numbers are really not working for me today. And as I said, you can't find that yarn, easy substitution, just a 100% wool worsted weight. So again, that one is the Detroit Slipover. All right, next up we've got a hat. Hats are a great portable project. While my personal tendency toward hats is to look for like really cabled ones and stuff, they don't have to be. And so this one is a really nice, simple hat for your travel knitting. This is the Manhattan hat. This is patterned by Tori Yu. It comes in a whole bunch of sizes. So it is sized from baby all the way up to adult large. It uses a worsted weight yarn. The largest amount is 285 yards. So definitely a really cute portable project for summer. It is basically worked in an all over rib with just some neat shaping details at the crown. So it says, the Manhattan hat is named after the New York borough that I call home, inspired by store-bought hats I saw on stylish people all around the city. Includes 6 sizes, 3 brim options, and 2 crown shaping options. So one pattern, lots of different options here. And she also has, so this I suppose is the worsted weight version. She also has bulky weight and sport weight versions. So whatever kind of yarn you've got in your stash, you can grab the appropriate pattern for that yarn. We've got standard brim, folded brim, and double folded brim. And as I said, 2 different crown shaping options. And all you need is a little bit of worsted weight yarn for this one, or check out the other versions if you've got other yarn in your stash. So there are 1,300 of these hats on Ravelry. You can look at all of the different options and choices that people have made, brim, crown, and yarn combinations. And you can also check out those different weights as well. And this is available for $7, the Manhattan hat. All right, this next one is a top that has been popular, I think, since it was released in August 2002. And this is the Soho top. This is a pattern by Kadri, and I really like this for vacation knitting because, as you can see, it's just garter stitch. That's it. All garter stitch. There's not a whole lot of fancy trim going on. Just simple garter stitch, simple armhole and neck shaping. It is worked using a fingering weight yarn held double, so that means you can probably substitute in a DK weight. So the recommended yarn is Sweetgrass from Pearl Soho, which is a fingering weight cotton alpaca blend. So she's got plant fiber and animal fiber, so you may want to look for a similar kind of yarn if you want, a similar kind of drape with your finished project, but also, just do whatever you want. So it is a classic sleeveless summer top with a boat neck style neckline, constructed from the top down. Simple garter stitch is used throughout. It is worked both flat and in the round and with an I-cord edging. And is meant to be worn with 0 to 3 inches of positive ease, and the pattern includes 10 sizes. So the smallest bust circumference is 30 inches and the largest is 53 and a half. This one, really straightforward. Garter stitch worked flat. It's just knitting, but the shaping details give it a really nice, more sophisticated shape than, just kind of a lumpy garter stitch garment. For simple garter stitch, I think this turned out looking really nice. And it's going to be a really nice poolside knit. So again, that is the Soho top by Kadri, and that is available on Ravelry for $6.50. Next up, this is a pattern that I have had in my queue forever, and I've just never cast it on, and I don't really know why. I guess a few years ago, there was a big trend with the knit bralettes, and that's probably when I put it in my queue, and then I never made it. But every time I see it, I don't really want to take it out, even though the bralette trend has passed. But at any rate, this is the Leila Bralette, adorable. This is a pattern by Joan Ho. So yeah, this was published in May 2021. It is available on Ravelry for $11 Canadian or $8.39 US. I did buy this pattern, so it's in my library. And it's a really cute bralette. The recommended yarn is Sanis Garn Duo, which is a DK merino cotton. So definitely sort of a summery knit, plant-based fiber. Says you knitters will be selecting an initial size based on their underbust measurement. Pattern is worked from the bottom up in the round, beginning with the ribbed band, and then you just have this lace detail in the middle, and all of the rest of it is stockinette. Straps are worked in an I-cord, but overall this garment is a lot of stockinette with a cute little eyelet detail. If you had more yarn, you could probably make this longer into a more full-length top. It could definitely be sort of a bikini top, if with the understanding that you are not actually meant to get in the water with this. I don't think that would be a good idea. In a cotton yarn, it would be relatively breathable and comfortable, but if you get it wet, it will be so heavy and it'll start falling out of shape, and that seems like a recipe for disaster. So there are 200 projects. I feel like there should be more. This is just so cute. There are 200 projects on here if you want to see this in different yarns. So you definitely have people who have done this in wool. You definitely have people who have made it a longer top instead of just a bralette. Just really cute options here, but this is such a cute little portable project. I really love this. One of these days I'm actually going to cast this on. It says it's sized from extra small to 4XL, and it's based on an underbust measurement between 26 and 66 inches, but that's not a ton of information is given about the sizing, but going through all of those projects, you can really see this on different shapes and sizes. It just looks adorable on everybody. So again, that is the Leila Bralette by Joan Ho, available on Ravelry. All right, hopping back to socks for a minute. I've got another sock suggestion for something just a little bit above a basic vanilla sock. These are the Ribbit Socks by Celine Phaeton. Obviously worked in a fingering weight yarn, and these are done in sort of an all over kind of, what is it, garter rib, broken rib kind of stitch. And the only element you're going to have to pay attention to is the heel. They have this really interesting heel shaping, but that's, that's a half hour's worth of work. And then the rest of it is this very simple, easy to memorize pattern. So this comes in lots of sizes, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sizes. And again, any fingering weight yarn is going to be fine here. It's a sock. They are, let's see, it says feature an all over garter ribbing pattern with a seamlessly integrated kite heel. I guess it has a name. They are worked in the cuff down with a wedge toe. So there are lots of, it looks like video tutorials in here for helping you get your socks to fit exactly right. It says it is worked at a variety of gauges, so that you can actually use different yarn weights. There's just a lot of information, even right here on the Ravelry page. So it seems like I actually own this pattern and have started these socks. You think I would remember, but they've been on hold for a while. It seems like this is a very complete pattern just because there's so much information provided here right off the bat. So again, socks, nice and portable. You don't need much yarn. Relatively straightforward pattern with that really fun heel detail to hold your attention, but otherwise very straightforward, easy to memorize. And the pattern is only $4. So those are the Ribbit socks, again, available on Ravelry. All right, and the last pattern I'm going to tell you about today for your vacation knitting is the Rolled Edge Tank. This is a pattern by Jessie May Martinson, Jessie May Designs. This is worked in a fingering weight yarn, and as you can see, it's very simple, straightforward stockinette. It says a very wearable basic summer tank featuring a comfortably fitted yoke and full-length body, optional bust darts, rolled edge hem and neckline finishes, and a curved split hem. So almost entirely stockinette with some nice shaping details and rolled edge finishing. Really, really straightforward. Nothing complicated going on here. So this pattern is worked in Confluence cotton from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers, which is a fingering weight Targhee Rambouillet cotton. You're probably not going to find another fingering weight yarn with that particular blend, but overall, you're looking for something that is mostly wool with a little bit of cotton. So the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, that's this one, and I don't remember the blend, but I think it's more cotton, less wool might be a good choice because that is also a fingering weight. It says, due to the uniqueness of the recommended yarn, I was unable to find similar wool cotton blend alternative. You should be able to achieve the recommended gauge across a wide variety of bases by using any fingering or sport weight yarn. It doesn't say whether this is, let's see the tags. Okay, so in the tags it says it's top down. It doesn't really explain that in the main text of the pattern page, but it looks like it is top down, which means it's going to be easy to get the right length, which we always like. So again, a nice basic tee for the summer, finish it on vacation and then wear it at the same time, right? Because we all get so much knitting done on vacation. So again, that's the Rolled Edge Tank, and that is available on Ravelry for $9. All right, Fiber friends, there you have it. 10 patterns perfect for your vacation or travel knitting needs. Simple, portable, easy to memorize, perfect for when you're on the go. As I said, all of them plus some extras are linked in the bundle in the description box down below so that you can find them easily. Do you have a go-to project, either a type, an accessory, a garment that you like to work on when you're traveling, or a specific pattern? I would love to hear about it, so please share in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you did enjoy it, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New knitting videos here every Saturday. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Media Peruana, and I will see you soon in another video.